right, welcome to the module called Powerful Conversions, where I introduce you to CSS, KPIs, and metrics. Probably many of you already do have an understanding of what that means. That's great. If you're super confident and don't need it, go on to the next module. But I highly recommend that you give me a few minutes of your time, because I think you're going to learn something that you may not have before, or you're going to get really fired up about what I'm going to show you. As you know, I spent many years consulting for Fortune 500 and global companies. And if there's one thing that was super crazy important, was metrics. I actually wrote a book called The 8 Critical Steps for a Winning Strategy that I give out to people, and it talks about what does it take to have growth and profitability, marketing and sales, what is your ability to predict marketing and sales, how to discover the secrets of Fortune 500 companies, and how to control your outcomes and reach your goals. It's way more than this course covers, but what I call the anatomy of successful businesses. I say, look, what if you were allowed to be a fly on the wall in the meetings that I participated in, and you could listen to what the leaders in their respective industries shared with me about their problems? If you literally got to sit inside a meeting like that, would you be interested in that kind of a conversation, or would you want to go to Starbucks and get coffee or whatever? I spent several decades in these kinds of meetings, and I not only learned a ton of things about what it takes to grow incredibly powerful global businesses and provide. It took me a while to learn how to be a high-end consultant on really how to objectively look at what their problems were, understand their KPIs, their metrics, their CSFs, their goal, vision, their mission. How does all this actually work together, and me have an intelligent conversation with them? If you could be a fly on the wall, would you be interested in listening to what was said? And just because they're multi-billion dollar global companies doesn't make them any different. Well, of course they make them different. But the principles are the same. The reality is, whenever I went into these companies, and this is what we all need to know, is that we have a goal. We have multiple goals, actually. We have a vision and a mission for our company. And in order to achieve that mission and the vision, we have certain goals that we have to achieve. And the only way we know if we have achieved those goals is we have to measure them somehow. How do you measure them? And I know we're all familiar with, how many views, comments, likes, and shares we get. You've heard me say that many times, but there's also a lot of other things that you measure. But how does this structurally work together in a business, in your business, in my business? How did I get invited by a university in California that saw my business strategy and said, hey, could we use you as a case study? Right, so I know what I'm talking about. The reality is, for you to reach your goals, for you to achieve your mission and your vision for what you're doing, you need to have what is called a critical success factor, which is this is what is necessary in order for us to achieve our goals, in order for us to meet our mission and our vision, and in order to know if these critical success factors work or not, if they actually exist, we need to have key performance indicators that indicate that those critical success factors actually are working. The only way that we know that we have a key performance indicator, right, just literally something that says, yep, this is what points towards our critical success factor. Like in order for me to produce a successful for me, critical success factors for creating this course is having high quality video production videos, so that you don't lose. Period. That's it. High quality video production videos that are what meet my goals and my visions for what I'm doing. What makes businesses fail? You can Google this yourself and find out. But if you ask, the problem for many business owners is that they get distracted by what I call the reality points. So quick wins, short paths, increasing your time with networking, training, posting, etc. Those are not the best ways to grow your business. I discovered something very early in my career, is that companies that succeeded and those that failed had identical patterns running their businesses. And if you Google yourself, what are the main reasons why businesses fail? The answers are the same. The top 5 reasons are this. Number 1, lack of capital or funding. Number 2 is ineffective business planning, which we're talking about in this module. Number 3 is in having an inadequate management team. Number 4 is unsuccessful marketing initiatives, which is covered in this course, and lack of flexibility, initiative, and innovation. These are the top reasons whenever I sat down with any of these companies, they were failing guaranteed in one of these top 5. I understand this isn't very exciting, but if you want to be successful, if you really want to grow your business, this is a very, very important topic. And so is the rest of this course. Everything up until now has been really laying a foundation and really getting your feet wet. Now, this is the hardcore stuff that if you really implement what I'm saying, then you will succeed. You will succeed because you'll know what's working and what's not. It has nothing to do with your motivation. So here's what critical success factors are. They are factors or things that must be done. That's why they're critical for you to achieve your mission, for your company to succeed. Some CSF tips to keep in mind is that they're critical for your strategy to be successful. They drive your strategy forward and make or break your strategy success. Ask yourself, why would customers choose me? And the answer should always be a critical success factor of some kind. I'm not covering everything in this course. I'm just giving you examples of what critical success factors are in e-commerce. So the question is, are these things something that you have thought about in your business? Many of you have, maybe many of you haven't. I don't know. But it's absolutely critical in order for you to succeed. And they would align with whatever your goals and your mission and your vision are to support them so you can get there. Let's take a look at key performance indicators. KPIs are measures that quantify targets, objectives, and thresholds and indicate the success or not of your CSFs. Your KPIs allow you to make strategic performance measurements and adjustments to your business activities. If you've ever heard of the SMART method, which is like an acronym of creating good key performance indicators, is S stands for specific, where we have clear, defined, well-defined, clear and obvious specifics. You have measurable, which speaks to specific criteria or metrics, which is the way you measure something to know that your progress toward achieving your goal is actually happening. A is for achievable, which is attainable and not impossible to achieve. Realistic, which means it's within reach, it's relevant to your mission, and timely. A clearly defined timeline includes a starting date or target date. I sometimes call it a roadmap, and it's the purpose to create urgency. I'm not going to cover the SMART method of creating key performance indicators. What's important is that you understand that a key performance indicator is something that measures and quantifies and supports your critical success factor. Some tips to keep in mind is that they are able to measure your company's success, but they're not a set of targets, objectives, or the competition. If I keep it simple, there are generally 3 types: financial, customer-related, and process performance. I'm going to just talk about it really brief. I'm not going to teach on it, but you're going to understand in general, you need to focus on revenue, profit margins, and liquidity because you don't want to have a company that's always in debt. You want to make sure your profit margins are going up every single month. And you want to have customer-focused KPIs, which are your customer efficiency. Are you meeting the needs of your customers? Are they satisfied? What is your retention rate like? And then process KPIs talk about measuring and monitoring operational performance across your company. How would you do that? You would use what are called metrics. Metrics is the method you use to measure something. I just want to pause here for a second. If your mind is going a little bit like wah, 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 remember in the very beginning I said, in your business, and this is how I started off with week 1, you have a mission, you have a vision, and you have goals to reach. You have a problem statement. So you have items that you started with that you need to have a way of measuring if it's working or not. If you have a problem statement, when you identify the problems that your customers have, there needs to be a way to measure, are you successfully meeting and solving their problems? You can't just say you do. If you do, that's a critical success factor. Then your KPI is how do you measure that? And then your metric is exactly what you're measuring. So that would be the percentage, or it would be the number, or we're coming up to that on the next screen. I just want to slow this down just for a moment so that it makes sense for you that we ultimately need to have factors that we know are making our success that there's something that we're measuring to make those, we know that those factors are succeeding, and then the metrics are the actual numbers for those key performance indicators. So let's take a look at that. So metrics are the actual method that you use in measuring something, or they're the results obtained from that measuring. And I know it sounds kind of weird. That's why I want to pause for a second. Metrics are what give life to your key performance indicators. Remember, your key performance indicators are just really what that phrase is that they are indicators of your performance for are you reaching the needs of your critical success factors? So they're key. Here's a few metrics for e-commerce, but these are generally fall under process KPIs. Remember we talked about finance, process, and customer KPIs. So this is an example of some process KPIs, which are what we, for the most part, are going to focus on in this course. What are impressions? And impressions would be like number of impressions, watch time, which is the length of time, click-through rates. What is the rate, which would be like a percentage of how many people click on something when we ask them to, or we imply that we want them to click on something. Retention, what is our retention rate like? How long do people stick with us in a particular? Maybe it's an ad, maybe it's a video, maybe it's like a course. Your view count. Okay, so I'm fine with likes, views, comments, and shares. They do make a difference, but when you understand where they go and what we're measuring them for, that's what makes a difference. So what is your view count? Your engagement, which are shares, likes, comments. So again, even though I talk bad about them, they are important when we know what they line up to. Demographics. What is your conversion rate? What is your subscriber or follower count? And what are your traffic sources? These are examples of typical and common process KPIs that we measure with and that we'll be talking about in the next module. So I just want to say, with all of that, I want you to remember a few things. I know this is rough, but this is extremely important. Some of you may not find this rough at all. You may find it simple. My experience has been not everybody is actually doing this. I'm going to show you in the next module when we actually I start showing you how to measure these things and where it goes in our spreadsheets. I'll show you examples from, like I'll use Me Too Now or Visible Kindness or my other businesses where I do this, have done this, and I know that's why they become successful. And I actually find it fun when you get it going, because you see yourself succeeding, and you have it just gives you a solid place to give you confidence with what you're doing. Remember, every Fortune 500 company uses strategic metrics, which includes CSFs and KPIs and ways of measuring those. Remember that without a plan to measure and to adjust, it's just a guessing game, and it's a frustrating place to be. Remember that this is the most important exercise if you want to be in control of your business. Making great videos is super duper, but if you're not measuring their success rate as they line up with our critical success factors, our goals, our mission, and our vision, it's a guessing game. Once everything is set up, it's not as hard as getting started. Remember, you'll be very glad that you do this. And also remember that utilizing metrics appropriately is a critical step in your success. In the next module, I'll cover exactly what you need to measure to support your business, how to do it. I'll give you some examples from what I've done in the past, and I'm very excited for you. So remember, I'm in your corner with you, and you can do this.